This is the final week of 2024, which coincidentally is the 1 year anniversary of this channel. So it's the perfect time for a best of 2024 top 10 list. I haven't read everything, of course, so these are just the best comics that I read this year. And there were a shitload of great comics that came out, but these would just be the ones that I would lend to my friends to read, the kind of stuff that I was most excited about. So we'll be pretty informal and quick. Get to number 10, Grommets. This is the nostalgic story of two skateboarding dudes growing up in 1980s Southern California by Rick Remender and Brian Posehn. A very funny and a very authentic story. And the finale to this 7-issue series wraps up next month. And I hope it has a happy ending. Brings us to number 9, Traveling to Mars. So I lent my copies of this book to a friend, so I don't have it here with me. But Traveling to Mars by Mark Russell is one of my favorite books this last year. It's about a terminally ill man sent on a mission to Mars to claim mineral rights for a gigantic conglomerate. And this comic is just kind of a dying man musing about his life and his regrets. A great comic despite that depressing setup. But I had to mention it because I liked it a lot. So that's Traveling to Mars. iHeart Skullcrusher. So I don't read a lot of manga, only because I already spend enough money on American comics. So iHeart Skullcrusher from Boom gives me the rare chance to enjoy manga-style artwork and storytelling. And it's really funny. It's a tongue-in-cheek story with a lot of heart about a girl who believes in the power of friendship, as well as caving someone's skull in with a mallet. Brings us to Hate Revisited. I love Hate by Peter Bagg, so when I heard he was putting out a new Hate Revisited series, I couldn't pass it up. And it doesn't disappoint. Peter Bagg's wit and is sharp as ever, and he's evolved and adapted his characters into a modern story. Just kind of expert comic book making. Next up is Godzilla Monsterpiece Theater. Only 2 issues of this comic by Tom Scioli have been released, but I've seen enough for me to put this on the list. It's got Godzilla versus Great Gatsby and his team of literary legends, Jules Verne's, Sherlock Holmes, and Dracula. Amazing artwork and design, just a one-of-a-kind comic. This brings us to Poo Poo by Carolyn Cash, a one-person anthology, issue number 1, this year, released by Silver Sprocket Comics. I've done a video on this series and pretty much all these books that we're looking at, so I'll link to all those in the video description. But yeah, Poo Poo was one of my favorites this year for sure. Next up is Ice Cream Man. This continues to be one of the best comics on the shelf every time a new issue comes out. The team of W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo have released quite a few issues this year, including this issue of Swan Songs. Issue number 6 of Swan Songs basically felt like an Ice Cream Man comic as well, and I liked this one a lot. So these guys are just killing it this year. Ice Cream Man. Next is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. So much has already been said about this hit comic. The hype is very real, and this is undeniably like one of the best comics of the year. A genre-defying cross of horrible serial murder in a cute anthropomorphic animal village. And Patrick Horvath has created one of the most critically praised and successful books of the year. And there will be a sequel, and the first collection of this story is available now. So brings me to Michael Mouse. This is one of the most fucked up and upsetting things I've ever read, and I loved it. Totally twisted versions of your favorite mouse and duck go on a drug-fueled crime spree that leaves dead bodies in its wake and tragically burns everyone involved. Not for the faint of heart, but this story will stick with you. That's Michael Mouse. This is my number 2. And number 1, Jin Sing Roots. I made a video about this masterpiece by Craig Thompson, and I said it was without a doubt the best comic that I've covered on this channel, and nothing has changed since I said that. So Jin Sing Roots is my pick for best comic of the year. Even though this last issue was released at the end of 2023, I didn't get my hands on it, the 12-issue collected series, until this year, so I'm counting it. And Jin Sing Roots was great. So that's the top 10, but I have some honorable mentions. So Kaya continues its imaginative and compelling adventure story. The Department of Truth also continues to entertain me with stories of the Kennedy assassination and the discovery that Marilyn Monroe is an imaginary creature powered by the public belief in her, like a busty blonde version of Bigfoot. Pole Position. This self-published comic by Moritz Junker was really impressive, and I wanted to include it here on the honorable mentions. And I'll have a video linked to this below as well. Universal Monsters had a couple of series that I really enjoyed. Frankenstein and Dracula, definitely worth checking out. Either one of these or both of these. What else we got here? Barfly and Vengeance is for the Living. Just a couple more honorable mentions here. But that is going to do it for the 2024 video. I will see you next year.